Hi, welcome to All That Matters Online. My name is Tara Ballou, and this will be about a 60-minute practice that gets into the hips. We'll work on some stability, some mobility, and getting into the hips in deeper and deeper layers as we progress. We'll start out with some really basic movements and then sort of layer on and put it into a bit of a flow. So to begin, I'll invite you to find a comfortable seat. If it's available to you and your body, I'll welcome you to take your knees wide and bring the top of one foot right into the arch of the other. So if you can't see that, pretend these are my feet, top of foot right into the arch of the other foot, and you can rest back and let your sitting bones cascade down towards the ground. If for any reason this doesn't work, your own comfortable seat will do. We're not going to use any props throughout the practice, nothing that's required anyway, but if you have your own block that you'd like to have, or blocks or cushion to sit on, you are welcome to have those. So from your comfortable seat, let your spine extend tall and long. Shrug your shoulders up by your ears, round and down your back, and let your hands settle into your lap. Let your attention drift inward to the sound of your breathing. And your gaze to be soft, either down the bridge of your nose or let your eyes blink close. Begin with a reading by Dana Falls. This poem is called Allow. There is no controlling life. Try corralling a lightning bolt containing a tornado. Dam a stream and it will create a new channel. Resist and the tide will sweep you off your feet. Allow and grace will carry you to higher ground. The only safety lies in letting it all in. The wild and the weak, fear, fantasies, failures, and success. When loss rips off the doors of the heart, or sadness veils your vision with despair, practice becomes simply bearing the truth in the choice to let go of your known way of being. The whole world is revealed to you with new eyes. And that's Dana Falls. So from this place of sitting and welcoming in to receive, also I invite you to consider this idea of allowing, and that there needs to be an allowance of letting go of things in order to make space for what serves in the given moment. So whatever it is that you might be carrying with you this morning, whatever burdens, or this afternoon, whatever burdens that you can set down, even if it's just for this time that you've carved out for the practice. Allow in your breath and the remembering of relationship with your body, and put down the things that are not serving to your practice or to the rest of your day. And let that be an intention that we seal with the sound of Om. So if you'll join me in bringing your hands together in front of your heart, take a breath in through your nose. Inhale, sweep your arms up and overhead. Allow your gaze to lift up towards the ceiling. If palms touch, cool. If they stay a distance apart, that's great as well. Exhale, right fingers down. Left arm reaches up and overhead. As you're extending through this left side, keep a little bit of a lift through the right hand side as well, sort of using the floor to give you some feedback and lift. Look down towards the earth and then up and under that top arm. Then use your inhale to pass through center. And your exhale to let your left fingers drop down and your right arm reach up and overhead. Again, same thing. Find a little bit of space through the left-hand side by using your fingertips and moving the floor away from you. Gaze drops down to the floor. Start to wake up the neck and then up and under your top arm. Breathe in and come on back up through center. Extend and reach long through both sides. Maybe palms touch. Exhale, left hand comes to your right knee, and right hand will either come to your low back or to touch the floor behind you. Depends on how you're sitting and the length of your arms versus your torso. Okay, so find a comfortable place there. And then as we spend about 3 or 4 breaths here, opening up into the twist, consider the idea of finding length through your spine with each inhale. As you fill up, visualize the column of your spine getting longer and longer. And as you exhale, Let your right shoulder move back in space. Allow your gaze to drift back behind you. And continue that pattern. Inhale, lengthen. And exhale, open up into the twist. And right here from the very beginning of the practice, come back to the idea of allowing some things to slough off, to let go, to soften, in order that you might make space for some new things to enter. Another breath here. And unwind, come back through center, extend your arms up tall and long, reach. Exhale, right hand comes down to your left knee and left hand behind you. Same deal, inhale and extend long through your spine. Exhale and start to open up a little bit more with each cycle of breath towards the left. Notice if the grip with your hand, with either hand, is really intense. Can you soften there? Or let the shoulders fall down and away a little bit. A little loosening up of your neck even, or a turning up of the corners of your mouth. Where can you ungrip so that a natural opening, a natural receptivity starts to welcome itself in? As you inhale again, come forward and extend your arms up and overhead. Exhale, let your hands come down to the floor in front of you, and however you were sitting, shift yourself forward. If you did have a block or cushion, go ahead and move that out of the way, and step yourself onto hands and knees, and take a second and just tap the tops of your feet onto the earth, just lightly. And then extend one leg back for a moment of stretch out, and then the other. And bring your hands under your shoulders and your knees underneath your hips. Inhale, soften your belly towards the earth. Lift your heart and your gaze up to the sky in front of you, and your tail up and back behind you. Exhale, press the floor away. Round through your back, glide your shoulder blades away from one another, and draw your gaze inward. Breathe in to the shape of the cow, and out into the cat. Use this as a building block, this cat and cow's breath, to invite in your own wake up movements for your spine, for your neck, for your extremities. So it might start to look like a rock back and forth here to get into the wrists and into the soles of the feet. You can still have the rounding and the arching that happens. It might start to look like a head or a neck roll, or even a bit of a side to side, a barrel roll. Just keep moving as your breath guides you to move. It doesn't need to be any particular pattern to what you're doing. It just needs to feel like it's appropriate in this moment, and that you're making some space in any of the nooks and crannies that space is needed. Another breath or two to sort of freestyle move around. And make your way back to a nice long spine into that tabletop shape. Step your right hand forward just about a hand's distance in front of your shoulder. Allow your right shin here to swing out to the right like a kickstand, and then left leg lengthens long, sole of the foot on the earth, and left arm reaches up to the sky. So we're going to knee down side plank here. And same as before with the fingertips on the earth, use this sort of feedback from the floor to help you find lift up in space through the bottom side as you extend and reach through the top fingertips. If your gaze lets you look up, and bring some attention to the pinky toe side of that extended leg foot there. Press down into the outer edge, lift the inner arch, and with that, feel the inside, inseam of your left leg. Keep pressing down, fingertips reach up and overhead. So now fingers and toes as far away from one another as they can get. Keep your fingers reaching and let your leg come up and hover. Flex through your foot like you're standing on a wall back there. Extend and reach fingertips to sole of foot. Another breath. Little balance challenge. As you look down towards the floor, can you bring your hand and your knee back down and try to land them at the same time? Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work. There we go. One round of the cow and the cat. Inhale and exhale. Back to a nice lengthened spine. Step your left hand forward, and I'm just going to take a quick spin around so I can stay facing you. Left hand steps forward, left shin swings out to the left, and it's the right leg that extends out long now. Sole of the foot on the earth to get started. Let's build this step by step. Right arm up to the sky. Lift your gaze up and find length, both through the left side here and the right side, and then from palm to upper fingertips. Press down into the pinky toe side of the right foot. Now lift the arch, and with that, engage the inseam of your right leg. Keep rooting down through your foot for another moment. Send your fingers up and overhead. Visualize yourself arcing like a rainbow. Keep the fingers reaching and let your leg come up and start to hover just about parallel with the floor. No need to be too much of a perfectionist about it. Arch the sole of the foot and flare the toes out like you're standing on the wall. Get longer. Imagine someone gently tugging on this top wrist and tugging on the ankle and lengthening you out. And then give it a try on this side. See how it goes. Slow and steady. Can you get the hand and the knee to come on back down and touch down simultaneously? Inhale to the shape of the cow, arch the back, draw your shoulder blades together. Exhale, move them away from one another, drop your chin into your chest, and move the floor away from you with your hands and your toes. Come back to a nice long spine once more. Bring a little bit more attention and awareness and specificity, I think that's the word, specificity, to the grip that your hands have on the mat. So I like to visualize that I'm palming a basketball, right? So a really large ball, and I've got the grip of it with my fingertips. So there's this sense that even though I'm rooted down, there's a lift up through the inner palm of my hand. That's where the basketball would be if I actually had one underneath. So there's an anchoring down and this energetic drawing up. And what you're doing with that is sort of dispersing the weight as we get ready to lift up so that the wrist isn't taking the full brunt of it here. So keep that palming of the basketball action going in your hands. Fingertips spread nice and wide. Toes are tucked under, knees lift just an inch or two off of the earth. Take a moment here and find length in your spine yet again, right? So the neck is in line with the rest of the spine. My head's in line with my spine. Tail long. My heels are pressing back. Find another breath in here. And as you exhale, lift from the low belly and the hips up and back. Extend your legs. Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. As you breathe in, shift forward and come back to the knees hovering. So the place we were just a moment ago. Smooth and steady, still palming that basketball. Exhale, hips up and back. Down dog. And again, inhale, shift forward to hover. Shoulders are coming right over the wrists. Spine stays long. Exhale to dog. Last time, breathe in, shift forward. And exhale. And take a moment in your dog to pedal out one leg and then the other, allowing your knees to bend. And make any other movements. You'll notice I'm starting to just sort of step my feet a little bit closer together, maybe a little further back, to position the way that feels best in your body. I'm going to make a little adjustment with my hands as well. And once you've made any of your own little fidgets or wiggles to your dog, find stillness. Allow yourself to drop into listening to your breath and have this moment of check-in. Right, another invitation of allowance. Letting things fall off that don't serve this body in this moment, and welcoming in anything and everything that does. Allow your gaze to lift up and look forward by your fingertips. Inhale, lift high onto your toes. Exhale, bend your knees, sit your hips back like you're getting ready to pounce. Inhale, And exhale, lightly step. Hands up between the hands. Generous bend in the knees. Let your belly drape right on your thighs. Loosey-goosey, forward fold. Arms just sort of dangle. Mine happen to touch the ground here, but yours might be up somewhere. You might grab your elbows. But head hangs. Visualize your head dangling like the clanger on a bell after it's been rung. So it's just sort of this residual sway that's left. With an in-breath, lift and lengthen your spine halfway up. Bring your hands right up onto your thighs. Send your sit bones back as you extend your crown forward. Hinge at your hips and fold forward again into the fold, Uttanasana. Legs might be a little straighter now, or you might continue to keep that bend in there. The backs of your legs will speak to you. They'll let you know what makes sense. Root down into your feet and rise all the way up this time with a nice long spine. Sweep your arms up and overhead. Gather your palms and bring them back through to heart center. Breathe it out. Inhale, sweep your arms up and overhead. As you exhale, hinge at your hips, send sitting bones back, fold forward. Long-ish legs, right? And I'll continue to say, work with your body. If the knees need a bend, put a bend. If they're ready to lengthen, they lengthen. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, hinge at your hips and bow. Root down into your feet and rise up. Inhale. Hands to the heart, exhale. So nothing fancy here, a couple of half salutations just to continue this practice of getting breath and body synced together and to do check-ins. How are my hips? How does my spine feel? Now that I'm standing, what's going on? Inhale, sweep up. Exhale, hinge at your hips and fold. Rise up halfway, lengthen your spine. And fold forward again. Breath in takes you up, sweeps your arms overhead. Breath out brings it back to the heart. So 2 more times. Inhale, sweep it up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, extend your spine long, reach through the crown. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale. And exhale. Last time through. And let your arms come rest gently at your sides. Feel your feet standing firmly beneath you. Take a breath to just check in and notice how you're feeling, how the blood's flowing, how your heart rate has changed from the movement. And let's put about 6 to 8 inches in between your feet. So when I'm going to say hips distance, I'm referring to as-is bones here, right? So the bony hip points on the front side. All of this is just sort of irrelevant, right? The stacking of the bones here. So my feet are about underneath my hips, give or take. Start to bend your knees and send your hips back into a bit of a chair. One hand to the low belly, one hand to the low back. As you breathe in, pitch your tail back, let your low belly drop towards your thighs. And as you breathe out, think of scooping your tail down and underneath you and lifting your low belly up. Inhale, pitch your tail back, spill your belly forward. Exhale, scoop and tuck. One more time, inhale. And exhale. Playing around and figuring out what your end ranges are in either the arch or the tuck, and then find what feels to be middle ground in between those 2 end ranges. So there's as much length as possible, but you're supporting the natural curve of your lumbar spine, right? You're not a plank, right? You're not a board of wood. There's curves in the body that belong there. So feel in, notice where your end ranges are, and then figure out where strong, stable, and long is for you. There's a little lift of the belly, there's a lengthening of the tail down, but it doesn't feel extreme on either end. Once you've got that going on, gather your hands together in front of your heart, press through your palms, let your elbows flare out at your sides. Remember that little palming of the basketball action, find it here. The fingertips join one another, and even though the palms are touching, there's an energetic draw, like they're trying to pull away, almost maybe like they're really stuck together. So there's this pressing and this pulling action happening simultaneously. Breath in here, and as you exhale, twist to the right, just from the waistline, right? So my knees, if you'll notice, I'm not going to allow them to shift. I'm going to let them stay pretty still, just twisting from the waist up. Breathe in, come on back through center, and take it over to the other side. Breathe out. Inhale, come on back to center, and exhale, twist to the right. Inhale, and exhale. And one more each way. Breathe in, and out. Breathe in, and out. Come on back through center. Inhale, and sit a little bit deeper. Exhale. Inhale here. As you exhale, press into your feet. Let your legs lengthen and your arms come on back by your sides. Keep the spacing between your feet about that 6 to 8 inches. And shift your weight into your right foot. Come onto the toes of your left. And inhale, pick your left knee up to about hip height. I'm going to spin sideways here. Okay, so left knee picks up about hip height. So we're going to start to play with balance and get into some mobility of the hip. The great thing about playing with balance is it's always like a litmus test. It's a feel in and see, like, what's it like today? How's it going to go? And wobbles happen and toes tap down. The floor will catch you, I promise. Any point in time you need to put your toe down, you put it down, and you jump back in when you're ready. So, left knee, here we go. Inhale, extend your leg out long in front of you. Exhale, rebend. Let's repeat that 2 more times. Inhale, extend. Exhale, bend. Inhale. Exhale. Extend it out long. Keep it long. And pass through mountain. Don't let your toes touch down unless you need the tap to catch your balance. You're going to pass right through. Hinge at your hips and send the leg out long behind you as you bow forward, coming to T-ish, like a warrior 3 type shape. Don't be super hung up on making it perfect. Again, we're just exploring movement. And then pass back through mountain, so stay nice and long. Leg out in front of you. Rebend your knee. And set your foot down on the ground. Try to be still. Every time you come back from the balance, stand there for a second and just notice. Lots of sensations that'll run through the ankle, through the knee, through the calf muscles. Pay attention to that and just watch how it sort of ebbs and flows. As much a part of the practice and as part of the posture as the posture itself is the coming out. Shift your weight over into your left foot. Inhale, pick your right knee up. I don't have a ton of stuff to say on this side, but I am keenly aware of the fact that I asked you to pick your knee up and stand there for a moment while I talk to you about balance. So I'm going to kill just another second or two having you stand here in balance. All right, that's probably about even. Extend your leg out long with an in-breath. And rebend. Hands can rest at your hips or be by your sides, really anywhere that serves to help you. And bend. Inhale. Continue to lengthen this way as well. Exhale. All right, this next time with extended leg long comes the warrior 3 type shape. Again, don't get super hung up on it. Just pass through mountain pose and take your leg back behind you. Reach through the sole, reach through the crown. Pass back through mountain. A toe tap is there for the taking if you'd like it. Leg comes back in front of you. Rebend, set it down, try to be still as you breathe, and check in and notice if the breath, once the feet land, if it's like this breath, perhaps an indication that the breath wasn't flowing as smooth and steady as you thought it was while you're balancing. For some weird reason, humans have this tendency to hold the breath. When we're trying to hold a posture or hold our balance, that's what we do. And it's like counterintuitive, I guess. It's like, if you let the breath flow smooth and steady. Sometimes balance comes a little bit easier, like the body gets this message that all is well, I'm breathing fine, everything must be fine. And balance becomes not as big of a deal. So just notice where you are with that. It's not like bad yogi because you were holding your breath. It happens to everybody. All right, so I'm going to layer on. Remember I said at the beginning, we're going to start to get into the hips, and we'll just continue to add things onto some basic movements. So shift your weight into your right foot. Inhale, left knee picks up. Exhale, extend it out long. Inhale, bend. Exhale, extend. Pass through that hovering foot Tadasana back to a warrior 3 type shape. I usually lose my balance here. We'll see what happens. Start to open up to the left side of your room. So it's like a hovering half moon. Belly, hips, everything just starts to open up. If your toe taps, your toe taps. And close it back up. Yep, see, there we go. I lost it. Close it back up to warrior 3. Pass through the hovering foot mountain, Tadasana. Here we go. Leg out in front. Knee bends. And set it down. Whoosh, there's a lot of sensations in the ankle after that one, for me in particular. And then I generally notice on the other side, I feel it elsewhere. So notice if that's the same for you too. If one foot takes it a lot in the ankle, one foot in the knee, what are the differences going on in your body? Left leg. Inhale, pick up your right knee. Exhale, extend it out. Inhale, bend. And exhale, lengthen. Sweep your leg through center, stay tall and long, take it back to the warrior 3 type shape. And any amount that you're ready to start opening your hips to the right this time, a bit of a hovering half moon. Just see what happens. As you're ready, close it back up. Pass through mountain. Take it back in front of you. Rebend. And set it down. And I laugh because, it shows me where the points are in the movements where I'm stronger, and the points that are challenging or new or different for me. And it gets me every time. I don't know what it is. So I just kind of find that funny. All right, let's layer onto that. One more time. Weight into your right foot. Left knee picks up. Breathe out and extend long. Just once here now. We're going to sweep right back to warrior 3. Open up any amount. Close it back to warrior 3, but rather than stepping forward again, touch your toes down to the ground this time. Right knee bends to stack above your ankle or just slightly behind. I'm on the ball of the back foot, and I'm going to widen my stance east and west on the mat so I have a nice stable platform from which to build. Inhale, sweep your arms up. Exhale, arms come down behind you. Lace your fingers and send your knuckles down and back. Think of them heading the same direction as the heel back there. Inhale, heart up. Exhale, long spine, bow forward. You decide how far forward is plenty. 45 degrees might work. Some of you might opt to come a little bit further forward into the bow. Wherever you're at here, continue to draw your shoulder blades towards one another so spine stays long. And let this outer right hip wrap in towards center and press firmly into the ball of your back foot. One more moment. Let your fingers unlace as you rise up. Inhale. Exhale, back knee comes down to the ground. Allow your hands to rest on your front thigh. You can keep your back toes tucked under or untuck them, entirely up to you. Inhale, let your hips sink and your knee drift forward of your ankle. Exhale and shift back any amount. I'm going to let my hips come quite far back so that my right leg extends and my toes pop up. You're going to work back and forth with the range of motion that makes sense for you. Inhale, blocks under your hands. Fantastic here. If you've got nice long arms and your fingertips touch down, you can touch them down. If you want to challenge your balance, stay lifted. Use your breath. There's no set number of these. We're just going to kind of back and forth for a moment. Next time that the front knee bends, pause, retuck your toes if you untucked them. Use your hands, use your blocks if you'd like, or challenge yourself to pick up. Back knee off the earth, back to crescent lunge. Inhale, exhale, step to mountain. Remember, try to be still for just a beat. And shift your weight into your left foot. Right knee picks up. Inhale, exhale, extend it long. Keep it long. Inhale, start to pass through mountain and sweep it back. Inhale, open up any amount, a little hovering half moon. As you close it, prepare to touch down, slow and steady. The toes touch down towards the back end of the mat. Left knee bends to stack above the ankle. Widen your stance. Strong, firm foundation here will support the forward fold. Inhale. Exhale, hands come down. Lace your hands the other way. Just because, why not? Equal opportunity hand lacing here. Inhale, heart lifts. Exhale, hinge forward. And you can pause at 45, or you can come any amount further into the fold as you would like. But again, this front hip, so in this instance it's left hip, wraps and hugs in towards the center of the mat, and the ball of the foot presses into the earth, and this back leg stays really fired up. Squeeze the shoulder blades in towards one another. Fingers release, rise up, inhale. Use your exhale to bend your back knee and set yourself down on the ground nice and steady. Toes tucked or untucked, up to you. Again, find a rhythm with your breath. Inhale forward and exhale back. This could be enough. Inhale forward, exhale back. Maybe it's a little bit further. Hands on blocks, fingertips to floor, or even resting right on your front thigh as you glide in and out. As you come forward this time, prepare to retuck your toes and lift up using any amount of support from your hands that you'd like or not, and rise back up to the crescent shape. Inhale. And exhale, step it back to the top end of your mat and find pause there. Check in. Another moment of breath. And let's actually take 3 clearing, cleansing breaths there to let all of that go, right? Another space for allowing, to slough off whatever we don't need from that hip mobility, stability practice thing that we just did. We're gonna let it go. Inhale, sweep up. Exhale, bring your hands to your heart. Inhale. Exhale. Last time. Arms come back down by your sides. Now check in. What difference does it make to take just a couple of breaths? Fully conscious, focused, attention on breath to bring you here and now, to leave the past in the past, and to get ready to step forward into what's coming next. Come back to that 6 to 8 inches apart between the feet that we did earlier, or hips distance. Remember, the as-is bones right there, hips distance. Bend your knees and send your hips back as your seat sinks. Utkatasana, the chair pose. If you want to take a moment to kind of play with your pelvis and find out where your neutral is, go for it. Maybe you fell right into it and the body just knew where to land. Inhale, take your arms forward. Extend and reach and visualize a block between your palms. As you exhale, let your arms sweep back behind you. Same thing, imagine you're holding a block between your palms back there. And add just a little bit more movement to the hips. So inhale, as you sweep forward, sit a little bit lower. And as you exhale, come up and out. Still in a chair, just a small controlled lift up and out. Inhale, sit a little bit lower. Exhale, up and out, just a touch. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, sit low. This time, stay low. Exhale, sit a little lower. Inhale. Exhale, allow your hands to come on down to the ground and step it back to hands and knees. Inhale to the shape of the cow. Exhale to the cat. Long spine. Right hand steps forward, a hand's distance. Right shin swings out. We've been here before. Knee down, side plank. Left leg long, left arm reaches skyward. Inhale, foot is down on the floor over there. Exhale, fingertips up and overhead. Inhale, hover your foot. Exhale, heel towards your bottom, hand reaches back. Don't worry if they find one another. You can just wave like, hey, foot, right? If they grab, cool. Open your heart up a little bit more. Squeeze your shoulder blades towards one another. And as you exhale, take it back to long. Inhale, long. This time, knee comes in towards your belly. Give it a squeeze. Exhale. Look down towards your hand, towards the floor in front of you, and step your left foot up to the front edge of your mat. Allow your shin to swing in. Here we are, knee down lunge. Inhale, hips sink, belly lifts, heart lifts up. Exhale, hands come down, and you can utilize them or not to lift up to crescent lunge. Right? Inhale. And exhale, let your hands come down to your hips. Stay on the ball of the back foot back there. Inhale, straighten your front leg. Hinges your hips. Exhale, fold forward. Nice long spine. Your hands can be on your hips. You can walk them down your shin. You can utilize your blocks if you have some, or fingertips to the earth. Lift up high onto the ball of the back foot. Inhale, hinge even deeper. Send your left hip back and bow forward over the front leg. Let your head shake out. Small little bend into your front knee, look forward. And this is just to give you enough sort of traction to hop it forward about halfway towards the middle of your mat there. Back foot steps in. Walk your hands to the left. The feet are going to stay in the spots that they are on the mat, but you'll let them spin. So walk the hands to the left, and the toes will start to spin to the left as well. I'm going to roll onto the pinky toe sides of my feet, and I'm making sort of like a bread twist tie with my legs. Right? Some folks will turn maybe this much, and that's enough. Some folks will come to face 90 degrees towards their mat. Some folks will go even a little bit further. So a couple of breaths here to feel into your body and figure out what's enough sensation in the outer strips of the legs here. Unwind, come back to face the front edge of your mat again. So left toes are pointing forward. Step your right foot back to the full length of the wide, long pyramid shape that we were in earlier. Bend your left knee. Walk your hands to the right. Right knee will bend, side lunge. I like to lift my heel up and pop my toes. You could have your heel down. Fingertips are on the floor, your spine is long. Lift up and out and spin back to face the front edge of your mat. Rebend your left knee. Inhale, rise up crescent. Exhale, hands come down, step left foot back to meet right. Downward facing dog. It's been a while since we visited. Inhale, shift forward to a high plank. From here, you can lower if you'd like. You can come back to that little knee hover. And downward facing dog that we did at the beginning of class there a few times. Or take a pass through Chaturanga Dandasana, elbows bent, lower all the way to the earth, toes untucked. I prefer the cobra with hips down, elbows bent, shoulders back, upward facing if you'd like it. Downward facing dog. Look forward to the front end of your mat. Take a breath in. And with your breath out, bend your knees and send your hips way back towards your heels. Get ready to pounce. Look forward, breath in. And as you breathe out, walk, step, or hop lightly up. Hands by the, feet by the hands, and fold Uttanasana. How are the hamstrings feeling at this point? What's the degree of the bend in the knees that's needed? Allow, allow, allow. Breathe in and lift up halfway. Lengthen your spine. Breathe out and fold again. Heel toe your feet to about 6 to 8 inches apart. Bend your knees and sit your hips back. Utkatasana. Inhale. Exhale, sit back a little bit deeper. Inhale and let the arms sweep back, rise up a little, and exhale, sink low. Inhale, rise up a little, exhale, sink low. Inhale, and exhale, sit back. Stay here, inhale, sit a little lower, exhale. Let your hands come down, inhale, and step it back to hands and knees. Exhale. I'm just going to spin myself around. Left hand steps forward about a hand's distance. Left shin swings out. Here we go with the knee down side plank. Vashisthasana variation. Inhale, right arm reaches. Foot presses into the floor to get started. Exhale, long side body stretch, fingers overhead. Inhale, hover. Exhale, heel towards your bottom. Reach back and either wave or grab. Inhale, draw your shoulder blades together even more. Exhale, extend it long. Breathe in. Knee comes in towards your belly. Breathe out. Look towards your left hand to the top edge of your mat and step your right foot up and through. Swing your back shin in and underneath you. So here we are, Anjaneyasana, the knee down lunge. Inhale. Exhale. Use your hands or not. Tuck your back toes. Rise up. Inhale. Exhale, hands to your hips. Stay on the ball of your back foot. Inhale, lengthen your front leg. Long spine. As you breathe out, hinge forward. Any amount you'd like into the fold. Hands can stay here, or you can walk them down. They can land wherever. Fingertips to the floor or to blocks, also equally cool. Staying on the ball of the back foot though. So that's what's slightly different about this. Usually in the pyramid, we've got the heel dropped, but keeping both legs energized and charged. Look up by your right toes, put a slight little bend into your right knee, and take that half step forward to about the middle of your mat. Walk your hands around to the right. So remember, the feet spots will stay the same, but your feet can move. So the toes will spin to the right as you spin to the right. Come onto the pinky toe sides of your foot, hug your inner thighs towards one another, and you're the driver here, so you decide how far into this twist tie shape is enough for your body. Use an inhale to glide you back to the front edge of your mat. And exhale to step your left foot back to a long stance. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, walk your hands to the left till left knee bends and right leg extends. Skandasana, side lunge. Here you are. Another breath in, and another breath out. Unwind to face the front edge of your mat again. Rebend your front knee. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, hands come down to the earth. Right foot picks up and steps back to join left. Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing. From here, what comes next is entirely up to you. If you're starting to feel tired but you'd like to move, a cow and a cat, fantastic. If you want to work on that little hover again, go for it. If you want to flow forward and move through vinyasa, you're welcome. I'm going to take the moment to pause here in the down dog and just check in with my breath. Bring whatever movements you were making into a moment of stillness and shift your shoulders forward over your wrists for high plank. So I spun myself around because I'm going to pull out my timer here.
If you've practiced with me before, you know that one of the things I love to do is invite in a little bit of a planking challenge. So your plank can be hands and toes. It can be hands and knees. It can be forearms and knees, any variation thereof. We're going to go for about a minute, or that's what I'm going to keep the timer for. For you, if a minute's too long, you tap down when you're ready. If not, I'm keeping the time. I'll let you know when 1 minute's up. Here we go. Off we go. This is a great place to have a bit of a coming to reality check with yourself, right? What's super important to me? What do I get fired up about? What do I get frustrated by? How do I welcome in grace and ease? What parts of me work really hard and what parts slack off and let others step up? How can I redistribute the efforts? Reach through your heels, draw your low belly in and up. Extend through your crown, head in line with your spine. Last 15 seconds, gang. Last 5 and 4, 3, 2, and come all the way down. Rest onto your belly, stack your hands, forehead to the back of your hands. Pick your knees, or your feet up rather, bend your knees, take them wide, and windshield wiper side to side. And then let your legs lengthen out. And like a pancake, flip yourself right over onto your back. Once you're flipped over, draw both knees into your belly and give yourself a squeeze. If there's any part of your back that feels like it's bunched or scrunched, take this opportunity to kind of wiggle and shimmy and lengthen out as long as you can on your back. And then let your knees fall out wide towards your armpits. I usually like to take a loose happy baby here and just let my feet kind of flop and do their thing. You could hold on to the backs of your thighs, grab your pant cuffs, outer edges of your feet, whatever works in your body. This last little bit of hip opening we've got going on here. I'm going to go back to my loosey-goosey happy baby. And go ahead, let go of your left leg and extend it out long. Let your heel touch the floor for just a moment, and let's come into a bit more of a specific half happy baby. So if you're able to find that 90-degree bend, hand comes to the outer edge of the foot. If not, work with what you can do. Maybe it's hands laced behind the thigh, and think of hugging the top of your thigh towards your right rib cage, right there or here. Extend through your left heel, draw your left toes towards your shin. And then let your right knee come back in towards center. Heel hugs in close. Hover that left leg. Inhale. Exhale, bring your nose up towards your knee. You can keep hovering as you switch, or you can set your head down at any point in time that makes the most sense for your body. Press through the heel and switch. And switch. And switch. And as you come to your left knee this last time, that'll be the last one. Let your right heel touch on down to the ground. Extend through your right leg. Head and shoulders back down if they're up. And open your knee back up into that half happy baby. So again, it might be hands laced behind your thigh, or if it's accessible and you'd like to grab and reach for the outside edge of your foot, you can feel free. I usually use my right hand somewhere on my hip as an anchor to keep me from sort of keeling over all the way to the left and stay anchored on my back. What's really rigid here? How tight is your grip? How intense is the shape that you're making in your body? What can you allow in? What can you allow to let go? From here, rebend your right knee, pop your foot onto the floor, and let your left ankle cross your right knee. Open it up like a butterfly wing moving away from your body. And this could be plenty. You could hang right here in a nice little gentle figure 4. If you would rather, this is actually something I love having a block for. If you've got one at home, pop it right under your right foot. And you could stand on the block and take the shape of the figure 4 stretch without having to use your hands. Or you can lace your hands around the back of your leg and draw in a little bit closer. I just like the invitation of not having to use my shoulders or strain my neck here, especially when I'm trying to focus the practice on what can I allow to just sort of loosen, to soften up. Because this does take, for me anyway, quite a bit of effort to hang on and hold and draw in. And I'd rather just let my arms go. We're moving towards the end of practice. So you feel into it the way that makes sense for your body. If you did pick your foot up, go ahead and set it down. Extend your left leg long towards the ceiling, and then one more time there's a lace around, anywhere that you can hold on to, whatever's accessible. And a gentle draw in without tugging or pulling. Toes towards your forehead, towards the top end of your mat. And rebend your knee. Foot comes back to the earth. Before you glide right into second side, just take a second. Then go ahead, right ankle crosses left knee. Open it up like that butterfly wing away from you. And either hang right here, prop your left foot up onto a block if you have one, or opt to lace your hands around the back of your thigh. Whatever's accessible and feels right here and now. It's been a while since you listened to your breathing. Check in. Notice the cadence, the rhythm to the breath. Do you flow like a circuit from inhale straight to exhale without even a blip of a moment? Or is there a pause? Do you instinctually hold and retain for a half a moment before you let it go? Do you pause at the bottom, lingering in the emptiness? What is your breath like? And let your hands go and your left foot come on back down if it lifted. Right leg extends up towards the ceiling, and then in any way that you can draw your right leg towards you, your toes towards you, go ahead, lace around and gently draw it in. And let your right leg rebend, both feet to the floor. Knock your inner knees on one another and heel toe your feet out towards the edges of the mat. So there's an internal rotation and your hands can just rest on your belly. And stay right here. Or heel toe the feet back in. Bring the soles of your feet together and let your knees butterfly out. Supta Baddha Konasana. Reclined bound angle. You can opt to stay here, or if you'd like, let your legs extend out long and set yourself up for a comfortable shape to rest in for Shavasana. We'll be here just a couple of moments. Again, I'll keep the time and let you know when it's time to sit back up. But for these next few moments, feel welcomed to allow your body and your muscles to soften and relax, to allow your rhythm of breath to move back to its own natural pace with no effort from you, to allow the work of the practice to settle and land in your body as is needed, as is intended, and allow anything to shed off, fall by your sides onto the floor that you do not need to hold on to any longer. And as you
yourself to be here, now, in this moment, whatever's happening. We'll come back to the words of Dana Falls. There is no controlling life. Try corralling a lightning bolt containing a tornado. Dam a stream and it will create a new channel. Resist and the tide will sweep you off your feet. Allow and grace will carry you to higher ground. The only safety lies in letting it all in. The wild and the weak, fear, fantasies, failures, and success. When loss rips off the doors of the heart, or sadness veils your vision with despair, practice becomes simply bearing the truth. In the choice to let go of your known way of being, the whole world is revealed to your new eyes. Conscious breath in and out. Begin to reawaken your body with small movements, first the fingers and the toes, extending out into the limbs, and start to stretch your arms and your legs. Inhale and reach through your arms and legs, make them as long as possible. Exhale, hug your knees into your belly, give yourself a squeeze. Allow the lingering quality of restfulness to stay with you as you roll over onto your side. And then slowly utilize your hands to lift yourself and restack your spine, head up last, and come on back into a comfortable seat. And if you took that saddle pose at the beginning and you can recall which foot that you had stacked on top, and you're going to come back to it, stack the other foot on top. So I do believe I had my right foot stacked, so I'm going to stack my left foot. Knees go out wide. And hands rest into your lap, nice long spine. Allow your gaze to be soft. And turn the corners of your mouth up into a smile. Gather your hands together in front of your heart and bow your gaze down in honor and reverence to this practice that calls us to remember what is important, what is valuable, what we're going to allow into this sacred space, into this sacred vessel that contains the self with the capital S. What am I going to allow in, and what am I going to allow to fall away that no longer serves me? And then a recommitment to that intention and taking it with you through the rest of your day. Let's seal this practice with the sound of Om together. So once more, a breath in through your nose. Thank you so much for joining me today, yogis. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Namaste.